We're going to be learning about the Microsoft Word Insert tab, and in particular the illustrations part of the toolbar. We're going to be learning how to input shapes and text boxes and arrows and lots of different things, and we're going to be making a timeline. So your target is that you will be able to use the illustrations portion of the toolbar to be productive in Microsoft Word. There's lots of different things we can use in here, and one of them is the shapes portion of it. The first thing we're going to learn is to set up our page, though, and we are going to, after we save, save as. So go ahead and save now, and put it as your last name, your first name, and then this is going to be called timeline. And name it the year that you're saving it. And so go ahead and do a file save as, and save it into your H drive in your computer's folder. So your H drive is right here. You may have to take this out to save it. It might be in, so you get that double arrow. And then you can drag this out. Put it in your H drive. You should have a computers folder in there. And again, it's last name and your first name. And in this case, it's called timeline. And the year I'm saving it is 16. I have a lot of different ones in here, but I'm going to go ahead and save it. So this was just showing you what to do. We don't need that on there. And if you look up at the top, it says what you saved it as, and that it's saved. So now all you have to use is your control keys, CTRL, so control, and CTRLS is for save. So anytime you want to save from now on, since your document's saved, it's just control and S. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to change our page layout, and we're going to change it layout, orientation, and we're going to change it from portrait to landscape because our timeline is going to be going from left to right. So when we click on landscape, if we zoom out to like 80%-ish, we can see that our page is now sideways. The other thing that we want is we want to go to view, and we're going to click a check mark in rulers. I already had a check mark, but if I recheck mark it, you can see that I have rulers come up on the edge. This is our left margin, and this is our right margin. And if we click over here between the gray and the white, there's our bottom margin and the top margin. We want to keep everything within these margins that we put in, because anything outside the margins could be cut off when we print. So that's why we need the rulers to know where our margins are. So I'm going to show you an example of this document. It's my timeline, and that I made years ago. So I'm going into my folders, which I went into the wrong one. I just went in the wrong one again. There it is, 6th grade, and so then we go into oops, I think it's in here. And there's timeline, and there's the example coming up. Microsoft Word, when you open something now, it comes up on the bottom instead of on here. So this is an example of what we're making. We're going to have our timeline, and we're going to put numbers in over the top of it. We're going to have a border around the edge. We're going to have at least 6 items that we talk about. We can have more. So you need at least 6 text boxes with 6 pictures to illustrate it. And we're going to talk about our life from the beginning when we first were born, and things that we remember throughout our lifetime. So I remember when I moved to Gunnison, and then I started track up there, and of course high school and college, and then you just go to the year that you are at now. So that is an example of your timeline. And so we're going to start with, we're going to insert a shape. And the shape we want is the rectangle. So we're going to click rectangle, and it comes up with the hairs, the crosshairs. And we're going to come across from the 3, because that's about the mid-page. We're going to click and drag this over. As we drag this over, we'll see that it comes to the default blue. If we go up to the drawing tools, as we're clicked on this and it's activated, we go up to the drawing tools, and we will see that there's a shape fill up here. And in shape fill, we can change the colors. We can even put in a picture. We can change the textures or the gradients on it. So there's lots of different things you can do. I'm just going to change the color to a little spring color. Now what we're going to do is we're going to change the outline. You can change the outline by clicking on Shape Outline. You can change the color of the outline as well. We can also make the weight fatter or skinnier depending on what we want. And we can change the colors. So I'm going to add a little dark green. Okay. And there's also shape effects. We don't want to get too crazy on this because we can make it totally disappear and not look good either. But I just want you to know that there are different shapes, effects, and bevels and whatnot that you can use. I'll add that bevel in. So that makes it look a little 3D. So if I click off on my white background, I can see that it is unactivated now. The rectangle is unactivated. And if I click on it, it is activated. And you'll notice at the top that the drawing tools come in. Okay. We're going to make our first section of our timeline. And the first thing we want to get are arrows. So we're going to go up and Insert and to Shapes. This is also in the Illustrations toolbar. And you can get these arrows. You can use the big fat block arrows down here. You can use crooked arrows, whatever kind of arrows you want. I'm going to choose a block arrow. The first arrow that I choose, it goes in the down position, but I'm going to be able to do whatever I want to with this arrow. So I can color it now. I can change which direction it points and everything. So I'm going to color it. I'm going to go to the green, and in the outline, the little dark green. And then once I have this all set up the way I want, I'm going to do a little skinnier. I'm going to copy it. Now copy, using our control keys, is Control and C. So I push Control and I tap C. And that has just copied this arrow because it was the one that was selected. If I click off on my white background and I use the Control key and press it down with my pinky and V as in Victor, it will then paste the arrow in. And I can paste that in 5 more times because I need at least 6 of these. And then I can place them along my timeline. Okay. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time placing all of these because I'm only going to do the first part. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have an extra one. And I'll place those later. The extra one I'm going to actually turn around because I'm going to use it for the bottom down here. And then I'm going to Control C and copy that. And it copies it in that position. And then I can put it down here. Like I say, I'm just throwing these in on the rest part of this. I'll straighten them out later. That will be for my other things. Okay. So I'm going to put in when I was born, approximately, and a picture that tells what I am. I'm kind of shortening these. I should have probably shortened them before I copied them, but oh well. So I'm going to insert a shape here, and the shape I'm going to put in is a text box. It usually shows up at the top, right here, or right here, and I'm going to put in here, I was born in Grand Junction, Colorado. Now all this I can change with my drawing tools. I got all the options to change all my text effects, my fonts and everything. So I can do that. I don't need a capital B on born, so I'm going to take that out. And I'm going to place this down here. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a picture in. I'm going to insert an online picture. I'm going to get a baby. And I will choose just a quick baby that maybe would designate me. This is me right now, a little crazed. Okay, I'm going to put it in. Now, this is an interesting thing about pictures that go into Microsoft Word is you can't click on them and move them around the page that you want, where you want them to go. So you have to designate something, and you have to add a little magic. And this is our magic rainbow, I call it. And it's called Layout Options, and I click on it, and I can choose what I want it to do. And I'm going to put it in front of text right here. And as soon as it comes in front of text, I can then move it around. So I'm going to put this down a little bit. I'm going to put right there. You can kind of tilt it a little bit. Oops. I'm going to tilt it by using that circle at the top. And there I am. I was born. So what I want you to do in this first video is get all of this set up and put in your first when you were born segment. You may need to talk to your parents about different things that have happened to you throughout your life to get 6 things that you remember really well. And in the next video, we're going to talk about how to put in our dates across here and finish up our timeline just a little bit more. So as you're finished, make sure that when you do this, you click Done on the assignment. And if you have any questions at all, you can always ask me. And then if you're done with this video and you're done with the headphones, put them on the back of your monitors and have fun with your timeline. The next segment we'll move on. We'll add some more things onto our timeline and enjoy making your timeline.